Welcome everybody to the press conference DTM at the Sachsenring, our Saturday's race. We have our 3 winning drivers here. For the third time this season, Jack Aitken, number 1 on the podium. Jack Aitken driving for Emil Frey Ferrari. Second place goes to Mirko Bortolotti, SSR Performance Lamborghini, and third place goes to Maro Engel, Mercedes AMG Team Winward. So congrats to all of you 3. Jack, third victory this season, was very, very hot out there today. So you drove a clean race. Yeah, third victory of the season in the same style you won the other 2 races. So how does this victory feel?
Yeah, it's fantastic. We weren't fully expecting to be fighting for the win because in practice we struggled a little bit, but we made some changes and qualifying was surprisingly good. Also a little bit lucky with Thomas's penalty, and then honestly the best position for the Ferrari is to race from the front. We've seen it already a couple of times, and I was able to control the pace a little bit. Just had a little bit of a scare in the pit stops, but in the end was able to hold the lead and just try to manage the tires in this heat was always a challenge, you know.
I think with every kind of car it's good to drive in the front, but what is the special thing with the Ferrari?
We've just seen that we struggle a little bit more maybe than some others in the dirty air, especially in the faster tracks, which is this kind of track, of course. And yeah, maybe we are suffering more in those conditions. We're not sure exactly, but still learning all the time with this car. And it was working really well today. So, you know, my thanks to the team as always.
How big was the pressure for Mirko in P2? He was quite close, and especially in the first part of the race.
It was changing in ebbs and flows. You know, sometimes I would have a little bit of a gap, a bit of a cushion, and I felt a bit more comfortable. And other times, you know, the tires are super sensitive. So if you start to overheat the tire, you just go backwards, and the gap would close. And for sure, I felt the pressure, especially after the pit stop. But luckily, I didn't have to fight too hard at any point. So I was able to just keep my nose clean in front, and it's the simplest race, but it's also the best for us.
So you just said you had a moment at the pit stop. What happened there?
I'm not sure exactly. We just struggled a little bit with the front axle, but you know, we're always trying to improve the pit stop times. We had our best of the season in Nürburgring in the last race, so you know, it's a bit up and down, but we keep working on it, and we didn't lose anything today for that, so all okay.
So I saw on the internet last week you cycled up Alpe d'Huez and Col de Galibier. So what is more sweating, racing at the Sachsenring and winning, or cycling up in the French Alps?
It's close. Maybe I need to try the cycling with the fire suit and then we can see. But for sure it's not pleasant in the car. We're all fighting a little bit there, but no, it's okay. You know, you just you train as much as you can for this stuff. You're also staying fit by driving the car often. So, you know, when you come back from the summer break, for sure it can be a shock, but it's all okay.
Okay, thanks, Jack. So moving on to P2, Mirko. Congrats, another P2, but you traded the championship lead with Calvin and are now back on top of the standings. So how happy are you with today's result?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite happy because I think today we had a great quali, and obviously the goal was to finish on the front. Would have liked to challenge Jack a bit more for the win, but that was all we had. So I think P2 is a great result to go out of Saturday like this. And we had a really fantastic pit stop. We gained few seconds on Jack there, but unfortunately the gap was a bit too big before we pitted, so we could not really benefit from it. But in the end of the day, it's been an almost perfect day, I must say. So I'm really happy with today.
So how difficult is it then? You were quite close to Jack. Gap was about 1 second, 1.5 seconds in the first part of the race, sometimes closer. So how difficult is it in these especially hot conditions with almost 30 degrees to follow him that close?
As we know, it's not really a track that you know, gives you a chance on seeing a lot of overtaking action, especially sector 2. It's difficult to follow. As Jack mentioned, you're gonna overheat your tires, and then it's a long race. The tires are suffering quite a lot, so you need to really make sure that you have enough left in case you need it in the end. I think that's what probably everyone has done in order to survive a stint like that. I mean, we tried everything to challenge him, but whenever he decided to open up a gap, I couldn't follow.
Okay. What do you think for tomorrow? You gain a little bit of weight.
Say again, please.
What do you expect for tomorrow's race? So do you think you can maybe repeat your Sunday win from last season here at Sachsenring?
I don't know really. I mean, today I did exactly the same lap time as last year in Q2, which was good enough for P3. So already to do that, it's a lot of work. Trust me. So we will try and keep our performance up, but how good it will be, only tomorrow will tell us.
Okay, thank you, Mirko. Then moving on to tomorrow. Maro, another podium. You continued your great streak of podium also at Sachsenring. So how happy are you with P3?
Yeah, for sure. So today we're very happy with P3. I think it was the maximum for us. Had a really good, clean race. Tried to do everything I could. Had a really great car, I have to say. The car was great to drive, but there was simply not anything more to do or we could do. So it's been a good day.
Again, you were 12 points behind championship leader before this race. Now you gained another 2 points, 10 points back. So is this according to plan to come a little bit closer?
Yeah, for sure. We tried to push. We tried to close the gap, and one thing's for sure, we're not going to gift it to them. So we keep pushing.
You had one overtaking maneuver during that race for position. That was with Lucas Dolls. So there was quite a clear and fair move between Mercedes AMG drivers.
Yeah, I mean, he was a bit quicker at the beginning. I guess they must have started maybe a bit higher on the pressures, and then he started to struggle a bit and made a mistake in the second last corner, and that gave me the chance to close up. And yeah, for sure, there's always a lot of respect, and especially between Luca and me, I wasn't worried about contact, but it was, I think, clean and fair racing.
I mentioned it already before, it's quite hot today outside, but you three look very cool and not quite relaxed. So how hot was it in the car?
It was pretty hot, yeah. It was pretty hot and intense, and obviously a nice green race, so no time to rest. This track is special. It's fun to race, and you always have to be on your toes, because especially in the high-speed section, if you have one moment, it can quickly be a big mistake. So yeah, for sure, it keeps you on your toes, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you, Maro. Then I guess we have some questions here from the floor, from Sven.
Okay, now it works. Yeah, congrats to you guys. Question for Mirko. Did you see a chance after the pit stop of Jack, which went a little bit wrong, to catch him there, as especially his tires were still cold out of the pits? Did you expect a bigger advantage there?
Not really on this track, because it doesn't take that long to bring the tires in. It's that's why everybody's trying to go for the undercut, at least from in the top group. Probably the guys that start from the back try to get a benefit from staying out, maybe a full goes yellow, lucky situation or something. But normally on this track you try to go early. That's what everybody in the front has done. And obviously Jack had a bit of a gap, so he had the great situation to stay out a lap longer, let's say. And even though his pit stop was probably not the best from what I heard, it still was enough to stay in front. I saw that the gap came down when I came across start-finish, but it was not enough to really challenge him or get close enough to attack him.
How afraid have you been that Maro might catch you? There were some situations where he was very close to you.
Yeah, he was really fast, and I was, first of all, I wanted to make sure that we keep the position in the pit window, and then after that I knew that my outlap needs to be a good one, otherwise I would give him a chance. But as I said, I think on this track it's a bit easier compared to other tracks to bring the tires in, and that helped for defending.
Question for Maro: how did you see the situation? You were very close to Mirko, but you had a bit of an off in the final corner.
Yeah, unfortunately today we lost a little bit of time in the pit stop, so I knew it was going to be difficult once his tires were up to temperature as well. I got quite close. Obviously tried to get the best possible run out of the last corner, but just dropped the wheel. Didn't really have a full chance. He made a few mistakes along the stint, but never anything big enough, which would allowed me to have a proper go.
And one more from Mirko. Yeah, you are again on the podium. Kelvin now is a little bit back. How important is that race for the championship? What do you think?
Really important, I would say, but not only this race. I think every race and the whole journey we've had so far is an important one.
One final one for all three of you. We have today the first time in the newer DTM a day with a free practice session in the morning, a qualifying and a race. How do you as drivers feel about the new format? Is it difficult with the big stress, or do you have enough time also for the fans? What's your take on that? Maybe Jack can start.
For sure, it's a little bit busier. Yeah, you have a lot less time between the sessions to sort yourself out. Limits a bit the changes that you can make with the car, just with the time that you have. So from that side, it's a bit trickier for the teams. If the fans prefer it, then this is a good point for sure. They get to see more on the Saturday when most people are coming on the weekend rather than Friday. But for me, I don't mind either way.
Mirko?
Personally, also don't mind like both formats. I felt this one on one hand is I like it more because it gives me the chance to travel one day later to the races. So if it was for me, I would just postpone the driver's briefing and that would be perfect. So you can travel on Friday and have an easy Friday, and then it's a bit more packed. I think for the teams, it's not the best on Saturday, because if anything goes wrong in practice session or quali, or you need to change something on the car, or you have an off or whatever, it's going to be tricky to get the car ready for the next session. So that's the only thing that really worries me a bit, but it's more for the teams than for us drivers. And the last question about the fans, I think, yeah, it's quite packed, especially from between quali and race. You really probably don't have any time to do anything. So, yeah, I think we can probably improve that part a bit in the future.
Maro?
For me, it didn't change anything in terms of traveling. I still traveled on a Thursday, but I thought the format was quite cool, to be honest. Obviously, there's a lot of action on the Saturday. If you look at it, there's probably pros and cons. Sure, if someone does have an issue, a technical issue on the car, then it becomes a real hassle. So I think for the teams, it's maybe not the right thing for every race. But every now and again, I think it can be a cool format and changes things up a little bit. Today, for sure, we had a good show, and I think the people enjoyed it.
Okay, do we have more questions from the floor? No? Then thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.